never don't care. We can falter in the battle. We're tried and true. Indiana, we're all.
Welcome, everybody, to the Girly True Sports Network and the Indiana Basketball Show with myself, Mike Goodpaster, and the legend, Steve Risley, who, yes, he wears the same shirt every day and he never washes it. How you doing, Steve?
This is my Sunday go to eating shirt, man. I only wear this on big day, win days.
It's your Sunday go to eating shirt?
Yeah. Don't you remember the Clampets had a Sunday go to eating table, the pool table?
I'm not old enough to have ever
just
seen
push
that.
food right down into these little holes. There were 6 of these little holes on the table.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
I'm sorry. But, Steve,
Yeah.
Indiana won again last night. We're going to discuss Brad Brownell and Mick Cronin as possibly being Indiana basketball coaches of the very near future. We will also look back at Penn State, Indiana. We'll look ahead to Indiana versus Oregon. But we're going to start off with Brad Brownell.
Okay, go ahead and overlook Washington, and that's the game that bites you in the ass.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. But I was just kidding. But I was surprised that you actually knew that we played Washington next. But on top of that, Brad Brownell, and I know I'm interested to hear what you think of him because I know you didn't really know anything at all about him, and that's not a shot. It's Clemson. We don't have to talk about Clemson. I know you did some heavy research looking into it, Steve. You had our crack staff, all your interns helping you look stuff up. What is your takeaway when you look at Brad Brownell? We'll also look at Mick Cronin today, but Brad Brownell.
I think that Brad Brownell is the kind of guy like maybe a Brad Stevens. Coach is more like a Brad Stevens. I don't know if he's good as Brad Stevens, but that same mentality of building a high-performing team rather than a team of high-performing players. Noted was the fact that he doesn't have a lot of superstars that have come out of his program. He's been at Clemson for 15 years, which I like. He's got a pretty good track record there. Let me see let me pull it up here. He at Clemson, he is 455 and overall he's 455 and 279. At Clemson, he's 288 and 194. Coached at UNC Wilmington and then from Wright State. But I like the way he goes after building a high performing team. That's kind of what Knight did. That's kind of what Indiana fans have seen our program and our culture built on for a long time. So he has a lot of the culture. The thing that disappoints me a little bit is that in 15 years at Clemson, he's only made the dance 4 times.
But it is Clemson, Steve.
Huh?
It is Clemson. There's been very few times. Late 70s, early 80s, Clemson was good.
Right now,
years ago,
Clemson at 23-5 is a shoo-in for the dance.
And
Indiana is scratching and clawing to hope to God they can go to Dayton and play a play-in game.
Yeah. And
so I don't take for that. Clemson is anymore where you coach. If you're a good coach, you're going to win. We've seen that with everybody we talked about. Look at Dusty May at Florida, whatever he
Florida
was.
Atlantic, yeah.
Florida Atlantic. He won like hell there and went to Michigan and won immediately. There are coaches that are tournament coaches that can win. We talk about the fact that we don't think Matt Painter is a tournament coach. He's a great coach. He's just not a tournament coach.
You said that.
I believe that.
He made it to an NCAA championship last year.
They didn't win.
But they did win 5
He had a
games.
team that should have won.
No, he didn't. Not against UConn. He did not have a team that should have won.
Okay, well,
Come on. That UConn team was loaded. They've got the best coach in the country, probably.
Yeah. North Carolina had 3 All-Americans, 2 NBA top 50 players.
Yeah.
And a coach of the year perennially, and we kicked their freaking ass right out of the spectrum.
Because you had Isaiah Thomas, who's probably a top.
That's all we had was Isaiah Thomas.
That's all you had.
Slow, gumpy, white guys and a couple of black guys that could jump out of the gym.
Well,
and we're
that was
great
scary.
players.
Cool. All right, Robert Stewart says Yo's for Vero. Somebody needs to beat Robert in saying hi.
But here's what I also like.
Jay
about,
Davis is here.
Here's one fact that I dug up, and you may know this. Brad Brownwell's alma mater is DePaul University, right out of eastern or western Indiana, right out of I-70.
They played a Moonon Bowl, isn't it?
The Moonon Bowl, yes.
Yeah.
My son played football at Wittenberg, which was a D3 power, and we went to DePaul and played all the time. And so there's a guy a lot like Dusty May, has roots in Indiana, would like to come to Indiana, I'm sure. I really, truly, Mike, I don't know if credential or accomplishment-wise, he's worthy of Indiana.
Well, how about this, Steve? I think the landscape of college sports has changed dramatically in recent years. I mean, there's nobody that could deny that. And I think it's noteworthy that Brownell has the Tigers thriving right now, and it shows he's succeeding in a new era of the NIL and the transfer portal. Clemson's transfer class this season didn't earn major, plaudits, whatever you say about that, in the offseason. But two of those players, center Victor Lincoln and Jadian Zachary, are among the team's top 4 scorers this season. And Brownell, over the past 4 seasons, has found the right blend. And you talked about this, the right blend of transfers and high school recruits. Now, he does have some Indiana ties. He played high school basketball with Calvert Chaney at Evansville. As you said, he went to DePaul. He also spent a year as an assistant at Evansville and 2 years with UIndy. So when you look at why it might or might not happen, number one, he spent a long time at Clemson. He's turned the Tigers around. Does he want to leave? Because I would think this. Is Clemson a place where you could consistently compete to go to the Final Four when you've got Duke right down the road, if you know what I mean? So barring a total collapse, they're probably going to be a top 5 or 6 seed in this tournament. And if Indiana hires Brownell, the thing I would think here is they're gambling with this guy just because of the past 15 years. I think the gamble is lessened because of the last 3 years, if that makes any sense.
It makes perfect sense. And I wasn't able to dig up a lot of dirt, and with the NIL being so new, not dirt.
Hey, we got a new one real quick. David Clay, greetings from Southern Indiana. Always enjoy your commentary. We're at
David, Indiana. Who do you enjoy? Mike's or mine? And if you don't say mine, I'm blocking you and hanging up on you.
You can't block him because I'm in charge of the show.
Okay. You can ruin my – stick the bullet out of my gun.
So this is the thing, all right? If David says you and not me, I'm blocking him. But no, where are you from, David? In Southern Indiana. That's my neck of the woods.
Don't say VV or Vive.
It's VV, Steve. We went through this yesterday.
You better not say Winslow. That means you probably tried to date my wife or something.
Oh, God, Steve.
Hey, she was homecoming queen, cheerleader, Miss Eskimo.
What the hell happened to her? I mean, she ended up married to you.
I don't know.
Now, if she ended up married to Isaiah, I can understand that.
All right, back to Brunel. I think that the only thing that concerns me, both of you, a politician, gotta love some both of you. 86 grad, Seymour. John Mellencamp.
All right, like an hour from me.
He was born in a small town. He's going to live and die in a small town.
Actually, Seymour's not that.
They're probably going to bury him in a small town, just like me.
But they got a big ass gym. They usually play a regional or a semi.
He married Adelaide Dahl. Now she's small town, just like him.
I don't like John Mellencamp. Go ahead.
I bet he lives in a pink house, little pink houses.
Yeah, because he's a commie. Go ahead.
Brunel again. Yeah, I. It's really hard now because you're gauging coaches. We're looking at coaches that we're looking at records 15 years past. Only a couple of which really involve nil money at all. And nil money is a game changer. It's a massive game changer for everybody. And I know we're going to talk a little bit about Nick Cronin, and I got an opinion on Nick Cronin and nil money. But for Brunel, if he's done that well, they're 23-5 right now with nil money in his pocket. Clemson is a pretty strong athletic program based on its football. They should have good nil support. meaning he's going to be able to. Clemson is where in South Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful weather down there. Warm right now. I'm sure. Great low country crawdads, man. You get low country crawdads and soft shell. It's great down there, man. The eating's good. So I used to go to Hilton Head twice a year. But we went to play golf. Stayed at Sea Pines. It was beautiful down there. Anyway,
well, also the thing is that
I think it's pretty close to Darlington. The
other thing I would say is this: at Wright State, he actually had 4 straight 21 seasons. He took him to the tournament.
Let me get back to
at UNC Wilmington. Nobody cares about the fishing. He went to 2 NCAA tournaments in 4 years.
I'm just saying my big concern about him is his 4 tournament appearances in 15 years at Clemson.
Me too, but what I'm saying is this. I think Clemson is a place. It's kind of like being the Indiana football coach. Nobody cares. At least they didn't until they got a football coach. But, I mean, the thing that stands out to me is it seems like his success has come more towards the new era with the NIL and the transfer portal. I like the way he builds these teams.
I like all that stuff about him until the only 4 tournament appearances in 15 years.
How many have we had?
We don't have a good coach.
No, I'm just asking how many we've got in the last 15 years. Nobody knows this.
Woods has got 2. Crean, how many did Crean have? Did Archie have any?
Archie had none. Crean had at least 2 or 3, I think.
Oh, he had more than that.
Did he?
I don't know. Look up his coaching record.
I kind of block out everything that happened after 1994 as a Hoosier fan. Are you looking something up, Steve?
I'm actually looking something up.
I've never known you to look anything up.
I don't give a shit. You're going to beat me just to make me look bad. Thanks.
I started halfway through, too. I'm not. I'm going to let you go. And we're going to see how long it takes. This is what you call filler.
At Indiana. Tom Crean at Indiana. 1, 2, 3, 4 tournament appearances in 9 years.
So my 3 wasn't too far off, Steve. All right, we'll do this.
He had 4 tournament appearances in 9 years. And so he's got 4 and 15. And you look at the coaching record or the track record of the program, Clemson had more wins than Indiana in that same span period of time.
Steve, in the same period of time, Indiana's been to 6. So why do we want a guy that's only been to 4?
Yeah, exactly. That's my point. That's just the only knock I found on him is he has a low inability to get to the tournament.
Yeah, but that was at Clemson, which is a football school.
But when he got there, and Indiana could turn it around. So
yeah, and when he got there, I mean, he did turn the program around, and it took him a while. The thing is, he's not going to have a while here, but he does have the transfer portal, the NIL, which he's been successful at. So we'll see. I wouldn't put him as one of my top 4 or 5 candidates.
Second tier.
But I don't think he's a horrible candidate.
No. I like everything about him except lack of tournament appearances. That's it. And that may change dramatically with Nil. We may see him, like I said, he's 23-5 right now going into this. And who knows what he's going to do. I mean, North Carolina's down. They're 23-5. They got to be a contender to win the ACC.
I think they're a game or 2 behind Duke, and it's hard to see Duke because the ACC is pretty bad this year. I mean, you got Duke, Clemson. I mean, there's not a lot else. Louisville's pretty good this year.
Yeah, Robert Schwartz, Brad Brownell would probably deliver MEA mediocre results. Gets the feeling that he is what the administration finds acceptable. And we've been picking acceptable coaches for a damn long time in this program. We need somebody else.
I don't know that we've picked acceptable coaches.
Yeah.
So, all right. Thanks for the comment, Robert. Now we're going to move to the guy Steve loves because he's at UCLA.
Well, so Brownell, I think you're taking a risk with him. I think that he's not blue blood enough to be an Indiana coach if we want the program to turn around quickly. And he may do it, but there's no track record there that says he's going to do it.
Yeah. And as we
runs a clean program, I like his coaching style. He's, he could recruit with the style that he delivers by building solid teams rather than trying to get big superstars. Could recruit Indiana because there's not a lot of superstar players out of Indiana, but there's a lot of great basketball players in Indiana that play team ball. In high school ball, I'm talking about.
All right. We're going to move on.
I believe if Indiana starts winning again, Nil will become Portal will become just a weapon Indiana has because people will want to come here.
All right. Next, we're going to go to Mick Cronin, who took to UCLA, or who went to 12 consecutive NCAA tournaments from 2011 through 23 at Cincinnati and UCLA.
Here's my thing on Mick Cronin.
So you're just not going to let me open it. All right, you do whatever you fucking want.
If I was Mick Cronin, why the hell would I leave UCLA to come to Indiana?
Because UCLA is a cesspool.
It's not a cesspool. I live out here.
The crowd's dead. Nobody cares.
Here's the deal. If I was Mick Cronin, I would say I got nil money at my disposal now. I'm in La La Land. I got Malibu on north of me. I got Huntington Beach to south of me.
Steve, let me ask you a question
Hollywood
about that.
To the east of me. I got the Pacific Ocean to the west of me. Yeah, let's go look at corn.
Steve, would you rather live in Indiana right now or LA?
Well, if I had the money, LA, but I don't have the money. So
what you're telling me is if you got the same money,
85 degrees and 20%, 10% humidity here today.
I wouldn't.
It's going to be freaking beautiful.
All right, so Cronin went to 12
You know the
straight
difference between
tournaments.
you and me is you're going to leave that sweatshirt on all day. I'm going to take mine off and put on a T-shirt.
Actually, I'll take mine off when we're done. I just couldn't find a shirt.
Yeah, I know. You put on your white beater muscle.
Just shut up. You don't need to disrespect me. Now, Mick Cronin has went to the last 12 NCAA tournaments with Cincinnati, UCLA. He took Missouri State to the big dance in 2 of his 3 seasons with the Racers. He took the Bruins to a Final Four in 2021. He followed that up with back-to-back Sweet 16 trips. He also reached the Sweet 16 with the Bearcats in 2012. Exactly, Steve. That's why I think he may be willing to come. He wins. And I think why it might work, he's a Cincinnati native, a Bearcat alumni. He spent his entire coaching career in the Midwest. He knows the area. He knows the coaches, high school-wise. He's done well with the Bruins. But I think this would present him an opportunity to land him a job with similar stature, much closer to home. I think Mick Cronin is a Midwest guy. I don't know that Mick Cronin is going to coach the rest of his life on the West Coast at UCLA. And we also know that UCLA is much like Indiana. If you don't win quick, you're going to get fired. I mean, he went to the Final Four in 2021, and they were wanting to fire him last year. So he's consistently put good basketball teams in the NCAA tournament. He is a great defensive coach. When you watch his teams play defense, they look like a bunch of rabid dogs. Now, the problem is, if you want a team with shooters, that's usually not his team, whether it's at Cincinnati or UCLA. At Cincinnati, he went to a bunch of NCAA tournaments, but he only got out of the first weekend one time, and that's why Bearcat fans were always pissed at him. Now Bearcats fans wish they had him back because they got Wes Miller. They're in the Big 12, and they can't compete. But I think Mick Cronin is kind of in my second tier with Brad Brownell for different reasons.
Something about Mick Cronin just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know what it is.
Probably because he's got a bald head and you're jealous.
That may be sadly that I may be prejudiced toward that.
And good afternoon, John.
I have no like for people with no hair.
John Smith said, "Good afternoon, Steve." You can't ignore the callers or the listeners.
Yeah, I just get a creepy vibe with people
Well,
that
by
have
God,
no
you
hair.
did. Say hi to John.
Hey, John, take your hat off.
There. What, John? How do you know John's got a hat on and you can't even see him?
I'm not talking about John. I'm talking about you.
Hold on. Will Mick Cronin resonate with the fans? Mick Cronin's an asshole. The fans will hate him, but he usually wins
him at all. That's why I don't.
The fans in Cincinnati couldn't stand him. The fans in UCLA don't like him. I met Mick Cronin, and
but he does win, and he is a good basketball coach. He's fiery. He gets after it. He protects his players. His teams play hard. UCLA plays hard. They get after it.
That's Sylvester Stallone calling me again. I put his own name in the phone, so when it calls, I get the Rocky music and I know who it is.
You and Sly are tight, I know.
Yeah. I mean, I hung out with him the other day. He's thinking about moving from California, actually.
He doesn't live in California anymore, you idiot. He lives in Miami.
He's still got a house in California. Don't
no,
you
he doesn't. I looked at his house. It just sold.
What house?
His house in Hidden Hills.
Hidden Hills? Where's that at?
My wife and I looked at it.
Where's Hidden Hills at, Steve?
It's in California.
Is it, Steve? I just said I know he was looking to get out of California. I haven't talked to Sly in a couple months.
He's out. He moved to Miami 2 years ago.
I know. That's what I said.
He sold the house, and it's a beautiful home.
Okay.
We saw it. We went and toured it.
What are you freaking? What's that dude that used to do Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous? David Clay says unless he wins big, he would not be liked. I can tell you this: even if he wins big, he won't be liked because he's not a very likable guy. Next up, Robert Schwartz. One thing about IU fans, they do like to complain. People in general like to complain, Robert.
The only reason IU fans like to complain is because they've had crap to complain about.
Yeah, we keep getting our ass kicked.
Bob Knight was here.
We're tired of it.
Yeah, they're just. I don't think Mick Cronin, as good a coach as he is, he's not a fit for Indiana. He just would not blend here. The people would just wait for him to fail. And I don't know that he would or not. I don't know, but I think Mick Cronin's in a great place. I think UCLA, it was a great opportunity for him to succeed. If he does anything great out there, if he wins another championship, he's a god for the next 2 or 3 years, and then he's back on the frying pan. But that's just UCLA. You know, anybody that goes there, unless you're John Wooden's going to be like, but Wooden won championships every year. Or no, what's his name did? Who was the guy?
Sam Gilbert bought him.
Sam Gilbert won championships.
He was a good coach, but once 1965 hit and he got Sam Gilbert, he started winning it all.
Winning a lot of basketball, yeah. Anyway, I don't think Mick Cronin and Brownell to me is a second-tier entry into this thing. But as you and I have talked about, the way Dawson and the search committees do things, we haven't even talked about who the next coach is going to be. I'm almost 70% sure of that. We haven't even mentioned that person.
I think there's a decent shot they know who the coach is.
What?
I think there's a decent shot they already know who the coach is going to be.
Yeah, I'm saying there's a chance we haven't even brought his name up yet.
Which yesterday I said no, but I have heard some stuff since. But
Pearl's not going anyway. Pearl's too old and comes with baggage.
Pearl's baggage will keep him out. Beard's baggage will keep him out because you got a woman president. I think this falls into if Scott Drew wants the job, it's Scott Drew's job. That's just my guess.
If Scott Drew wants the job, but why
would I said, Steve? Why'd you repeat it and act like you came up with a new thought on your own? Jeez. I'm going to start copywriting everything I say as I say it.
It's been right. Robert Schwartz is right. It's never-ending mediocrity since he fired Knight. And really, truly, in all honesty, the last couple of years of Knight's career was mediocrity.
Everything after 1993 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, shit. He had a team go to the Final Four in 2002, but
that wasn't his team.
Well, it probably was more his team than Davis's. But
he recruited the players. Davis did have to coach him. We have to give the man some credit.
No, I give Mike credit for it. It's just saying it was a combined effort. But we didn't get much out of Knight the last 3 or 4 years he was here.
If you want to be truthful, Mike Davis and Tom Crean were the 2 best coaches we've had since Knight.
You know what the problem with Mike Davis was?
I don't think either one of them were any good, though. So don't get me
wrong. He ended up being a decent basketball coach.
Mike Davis was not ready to be thrown into.
He got thrown into the fire. Right from the boiling pot right into the fire, and
he maintained the ship.
So Brownell didn't wow me. Good coach, probably in a good position where he's at. Stay where you are. You're at an ACC school. You're playing big games. You're going to get televised games. You're in a recognizable program because of the football team. What's the football coach's name out there? Dudley Do-Right or something like that? Or
I don't know. The guy's an idiot.
What's his name?
I don't even remember. It's some dude.
He's got a funny first name.
It's not memorable, put it like it. That's the dude that could. I mean, it was just if you saw his opening press
it's
conference,
like Dudley or Doody Ding or Dog Doo or something. I don't know. It's something funny. Somebody tell me what the Clemson football coach's name is.
Oh, the Clemson coach is Dabo Sweeney.
Dabo.
I thought you meant UCLA.
No, Dabo. Oh, UCLA, they're getting a new football coach again.
I thought they just hired a football coach last year.
Did they? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I think they fired him after 1 year.
Well, I don't know. Who cares? It's UCLA. Nobody cares.
I'd live in LA and don't care.
Unless it's Dick Vermeil or Terry Donahue. Nobody cares anymore. When's the last time UCLA was relevant?
Ohio State came in here and beat USC last night. Put them out. Bottom three. They're not even going to dance. They're not even going to go to the conference dance.
It's not over yet. All right. And don't make fun of them. We weren't too far.
How about Michigan State's shot at the buzzer? How about Maryland jacking up the last second shot to break the tie with 8 seconds left on the clock?
Looks like you do that at like 3 or 4.
Let's get that coach. He's coaching Maryland right now.
Well, right now, I would take that coach because he's 21-7 right now.
That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't? It's the only thing.
No, the guy from Clemson's 23-5. Crap,
I know. I would take him right now, or what we got too. All right, we got a comment from Robert. After 94-95, IU made it past the first round of the NCAA twice and had it best of 500 Big Ten results. That's what we do with Indiana now. But last night,
Indiana's never won the Big Ten tournament.
I think what is really big here is people are missing the point that Mike Woodson may go out winning a national championship here. The Hoosiers are hot. Last night, they beat Penn State. Washington's up next.
If he wins the national championship, Mike, he ain't going out.
No, his ass retired. He needs to go. All right. So, Indiana beat Penn State last night, Steve. I ain't gonna lie, game started a little late. I fell asleep, but I watched the rest of it this morning. And the thing to me that surprised me, and this team has surprised me 3 of the last 4 games, they caught fire from the perimeter. Umar Balu returned to the starting lineup, and he dominated the paint. Indiana's defense held up late. And my big thing is Indiana dished out 24 assists, its second highest total of the season. I think the game before this, they dished out right around 20. So this team is playing better. They didn't play great because if you play great at home, you should beat the hell out of Penn State. But they played good enough to win, and they still have a chance, Steve, to
dance.
It's like pulling teeth sometimes with old folks like you. They don't process information that quick.
Oh, no, I was looking at something else.
What were you looking at, Steve?
The fact that Gene Hackman and his wife and his dog passed away last night.
I know. It's always sad.
Norman Dale, no more.
Maybe the greatest actor we've ever seen, Steve.
Probably.
It's either him or it's Pee Wee Herman.
Didn't have a Gene Hackman in it at some point.
Hoosiers, the greatest movie Gene Hackman was in. Have you ever seen Bat 21? You ever see Bat 21?
Huh?
You ever see Bat 21?
Yes, I did.
Is that good?
Yes, very good.
Because I have not seen it. I never even heard of it, but my buddy who's old like you had seen it before, and I couldn't believe
he was a pilot or he was a commander and a pilot and shot over down. I think it was Vietnam.
The bad thing is this. There was somebody that posted a picture of him with a cane yesterday that said, "This is the Hoosiers' next new coach."
He was 95 years old. Give the guy credit.
But somebody posted that as a joke, and it just seemed weird.
When he retired, he started writing books and wrote a lot of books.
I would assume it was probably carbon monoxide or something.
That's what it said. They said, yeah, okay. We're not going to do, yeah. It sounds to me like it was carbon monoxide. No,
we didn't say what it was. We said what we figured it might be.
What we think it'd be, yeah. With the dog passing away with the wife and husband, most likely. And they said he'd been dead for over a day. So they'd all been dead. So probably got cold in Santa Fe. And they
all right, Steve, come on now.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal about last night. The only thing I can tell you about it is Indiana won.
Hey, and Trey Galloway, 4 of 5 from 3-point range. Indiana shot 10 for 15 on 3-point range. You can beat anybody doing that, Steve. And this team is being subbed better. Malik Renew, of course, was unavailable because he had an illness. That means Ballo got in. He struggled early against Penn State 7-footer.
Look what happens.
that he dominated. Yeah, whenever they're separate. I don't know who first said that a long time ago on here, but somebody did. Just bringing it up. Somebody might have disagreed.
In the movie Hoosiers.
Will you stop? Jay Davis was in Hoosiers. Let's get the comment.
I was in the movie
Hoosiers with Gene Hackman. I was one of the fans of the Sands cheering on the game.
Yeah, I remember seeing you. You were the one with the hair slicked back. And
he had the fedora on, I think, didn't he?
Huh?
He had the fedora on, didn't he? And the
were you at Nicetown, Jay, or were you at Hinkle?
I don't think we can just wait on the answer because he has to type the response.
Okay.
But I've been to Nicetown, the Hoosiers gym. My son's actually playing a high school basketball game.
What Indiana did last night was simply if we would have hit 3 froze. If we would have hit 2, I don't know. We shot 80% last night from the free throw line, which is the best.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Robert? Unless he's talking about
Robert's off on a tangent again.
Robert, where are you at? Come back to us, Robert.
He's in Vero Beach, Florida, isn't he? Or is that where little guy's from?
Little guy is from I think it's Fort Queers or something. Oh, Fort Myers. Okay.
He's at one of those what's those Del Webb Sun Cities?
The hell are you talking about?
Those senior community residents.
You would know. I don't know. What is that?
Well,
is that the one? Is that the one where they're all swingers and is that the one where they're all swingers down there and getting naked?
Jay was at Hinkle. Everybody was at Hinkle.
Well,
had to get into Nicetown to be big time if you want to be.
You've been to Hinkle.
I coached it at
Got your ass kicked at Hinkle.
I played at Hinkle and coached at Nicetown.
Got beat at Hinkle.
Died to the movie.
Team of midgets.
Indiana won. Okay, now what we got to do is we got to go out west. Now we're on our way out there right now, probably. Try and get acclimated a little bit to the time zone. Washington, what scares me is our first long road trip.
Hey, Steve, Nick wants to know what in the hell he's watching. What the hell is he watching? We don't know, Nick.
What the hell am I watching? If you're talking about us and dissing us,
yeah, it won't work.
It won't work. We don't care.
That's why we make fun of each other all the time. That way, when other people do,
go watch The View.
Yeah, go watch The View. Actually, you look a little bit like Joy Behar.
Don't say that.
No, please. if she'd gotten bitten by a bunch of snakes and
we're pissing Nick off. Let's don't piss Nick off.
I didn't. Why would we piss Nick off?
What do you know about Washington?
Well, my guess is that Nick came in late. We've already talked about the 2 coaching candidates, and now we're talking about Indiana Penn State from last night.
Yeah, what do we know about Washington? What's the threat?
Well, it's in the Northwest.
It's what?
It's in the Northwest.
That's all we know about them.
They're not very good. I know all kind of things, Steve. The question is, what do you know about Washington basketball?
I cannot punch it up as fast as you can.
I'm not punching it up right now.
I'm only working because if Indiana plays like they did last night, they're going to win out.
Well, I can tell you this: Washington, I believe they're like 13-14 or 13-15. At home, they are much better. They beat Northwestern recently at home, but they're not that good at home either. I mean, they got beat by Rutgers at home. They went to Wisconsin. When was that? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. They lost by like 20 or 30 points. They went to Iowa over the weekend, and see, that's the thing. They are coming off a West Coast or East Coast, I guess, or Midwest road trip, and they have to host Indiana Saturday night.
They're going to be tired.
Their trip to the Midwest was an 85-79 loss to Iowa, and then, of course, I think they lost like 85-62 or 86-62 to Wisconsin. So this is a team right now that I believe has lost their last 3 games. Now, they did upset Penn State at Penn State by a couple points, and that was probably a week or 2 ago. But other than that, this is a team Indiana should handle with ease. And if they don't, we're screwed anyways, and everything's done. And the big thing is, hopefully Indiana's not looking ahead to Oregon. And this is an Indiana team. When's the last time we won 3 games in a row unless we were playing NAIA competition?
Well, that's going to lead up to the question I wanted to ask you. Based on the last 2 games, the way Indiana's playing right now, where would you say we rank in the Big Ten? Who's better than us right now?
Oh, I could give you a lot, Joe.
Who's playing better right now? Not that we know is a better team, has a better
All
record.
right, put it like this: everybody
Who's playing
forgets
better than Indiana?
they upset
right now?
Michigan State. What
Michigan
they've done since then is they've lost at home to UCLA, and they beat Penn State by 5 points. It's not like we're blowing the doors off people. This team is playing better. They're playing much harder. But Washington has some guys that are dangerous. I mean, they got a dude that his first name is like Great Osabor or something, who is a pretty good player. I mean, they're a team that will play consistently 9, maybe even 10 guys sometimes. I mean, most of their games, you don't even have anybody who's played 35 minutes. So I think they're dangerous. They're going to play with 3 guards. So that means if Malik Renew's healthy, you only play, if he's healthy, you just play him back and forth because they do have 3 guards. The guards are not great. They're not great 3-point shooters. I think it's Harris, Mason, and Diallo. But I've seen him play 4 or 5 times. There's nothing there that scares me. This is a game that if Indiana loses it, it's because Indiana probably screwed up, not because Washington did something great. Oh, here we go. Nick wanted to know about the Fort Myers talk. It was the little midget. I like to call him bastard, but that's a bad word. I don't want to say that on here. But he's a man that we don't like because he's a weasel.
He's the curator of a Facebook page called
Got Clap or something. I don't remember exactly.
And he's very.
He couldn't take a joke, Steve.
He's very stringent about what you can talk about on his website. You can't say any truths, only that you love Mike Woodson.
Yeah.
No truths are allowed on his
It's like a little cult. He's like a
you
little.
are banished for life for speaking anything true.
Yeah, put it like this: it was a Facebook page where he banned Steve Risley,
I know,
who has
Mike
a national
and I are
championship
banished.
ring. Yeah, we're banished. Pretty much 90% of Hoosier World is banished, and the other 10% are, I think, some nuns that are on that site. Robert Swartz says the West Coast road trip will be tougher than IU probably likes.
Oh, sure.
A road trip anywhere is tougher than what you would like. But
that's why you take a couple of those road trips early in the year and kind of get the feel for them. If you're a team that wants to compete in a championship and be prepared, it's like Bob Knight used to say, everybody has the will to win. Very few people have the will to prepare to win.
Yeah.
You prepare to win by taking a road trip like this against a couple of pretty good teams early in the year when it doesn't matter if you get beat, but you learn how to handle yourself in a hotel for 4 nights. You learn how to eat proper food, how to get proper exercise, and not just to lay around and watch television. You learn things by taking these road trips. We always took road trips early in the year, got out of Assembly Hall, played in front of angry fans that did not like Indiana because at that time we had a target on our back as big as any team in the country. And we did not have not done that. So now we're going into a unknown hostile situation with 2 games we should win.
Well, I know this is one game.
Now we're playing now.
One game we should win.
We're praying to God we get through these 2 games.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. The second game, Oregon, is the one that scares me because Oregon was in a deep slump, but they've won their last 4 games.
They've come out of their slump.
Yes, they beat Northwestern. They beat Rutgers. They beat Iowa. Those don't sound like that big a deal, but they beat Wisconsin at Wisconsin.
Is Indiana back to being a quad 1 team now? Sure they are.
Hold on. Let's do a little KenPom.
I'm sure they are.
You can be sure, but we'll have to
beating
check.
Purdue and then turning around and beating Penn State. I'm sure they are.
Well, it's not looking too good here, Steve. Hold on.
No.
I'm looking for us. Indiana. Well, this ranking makes no sense. Hold on. What I see is Indiana at 52, so that puts them just inside.
So they're a quad 1 win. So for Oregon team that's coming off a little bit of a slump, putting a smacking on Indiana would be a good thing for them.
Well, that would be a good thing for anybody at this time of the season.
Right. That would be a good win.
Hey, this is the thing. It's a big game. I mean, Oregon's in the tournament. They're 20-8. They're 34 in KenPom. They should be probably safely in. This is a much bigger game for Indiana, but Oregon is on a roll. And Oregon
Yeah,
has
Oregon's
some
in,
things that can hurt them. But
exactly, Mike. You're right on. It's a bigger game for Indiana.
yeah, so they need to come out and play that way. Robert Schwartz says Steve Risley. Can't disagree at all. IU doesn't challenge itself in the preseason any
No, they
longer.
don't.
When's the last time we did?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who sets the schedule.
Well, I would assume that Mike
I'm assuming the AD sets the schedule
with the head
input
coach
by the coach.
Well, I mean, the head coach should have the final say on what the schedule is going to be, anyways.
I know if I went to Indiana next year, I would want to play Kentucky, North Carolina. I'd want to get Duke on the schedule. I'd want to home and home with Duke. I'd want to play UConn. I don't care. Let's play them. Crap, that's why you go to school like Indiana. Let's play schools like that.
I thought it was to play Army.
No.
And all the directional schools, Western Michigan, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan.
No.
But
Marion, DePaul, Indiana Central.
Indiana.
No, I wouldn't care about my preseason record as much as I would care about the experience we were getting playing championship caliber basketball teams, and have film later on down to say and take that film back toward the end and say, this is where we made mistakes. Look at this. Here we're playing UConn. We're playing Duke. Look how we didn't play right. Now you guys have had a season to curate that and get that done. So we now are coming into important wins we have to have right now. We know how to play these games. Now let's go out and play them, damn it. The will to prepare to win. It's right there. So, but anyway, we're dreaming pipe dream. Right now we got to get by Wisconsin or Washington. I think we'll beat Washington, Oregon. We'll have been on our what? We were leaving today to go to the West Coast. We don't play Oregon until Tuesday. So we're going to be there Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night.
Now, the big question is, are there casinos and bars the players can get to from the hotel room?
Are there what?
Casinos and bars. That's where they like to hang out.
No, but pot's legal in Washington.
It doesn't mean it's legal to do it on the team.
Don't you know the 5 players that got suspended back in 1980 for bringing? Okay, ask where our head coach was in that list.
He was on that list.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs to do that again, or maybe he's too stoned all the time. Who the hell knows? But I don't know.
That's a common stupid thing I shouldn't say because Mike's a great guy.
Shit. And if Mike's a great guy, he'll think it's
farce anyway.
Huh?
That was a Butch Carter farce anyway.
Yeah, but the only people who really paid for it was Tom, correct?
Tommy Baker, Don Cox, and Jim Roberson.
Yeah. Well, you need to be a better player if you're going to get busted with a
all right, okay. And then we got to come back, after we win. If we go there and win this games, we got to play Ohio State. Ohio State's not playing bad basketball right
now. Well, they are, because sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. They're really, to me, similar to Indiana. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, that was a team that loses like 3 or 4 in a row. Then they go to Madison Square Garden and beat Kentucky by 15 on a neutral court. And then they lose to crappy teams. Then they beat good teams. And they played UCLA. They lost that. They did beat USC, which anytime you win the second part of it is big. Let's see. David Clay says he got out of it somehow. Yes, because he's good. Robert Schwartz says IU doesn't even play MAC, NBC, OVC level competition anymore.
Is he talking about Woodson and the deal? I was there. I was one of the ones that made the decision.
You decided to keep Mike, and now look what happened.
I was the one sitting in the locker room as the decision was made. And then
I'm sure Coach Knight put it to you guys in a way that told you who to vote for. And
yeah, he told us what that decision was going to be, and we should go ahead and make it. But we were told what the decision was going to be on what was going to happen there in that locker room.
Yeah, you were just supposed to go along.
That was the ugliest day in basketball I ever had in my life. I cried like I never cried before.
Why did you cry?
Because I had friends that were getting kicked off the team and screwed, and I was so pissed at one player and we all were, and it was a mess. And it was the week of finals. we were all studying for finals. We had finals that week. You know, in Indiana, you actually go to class and take classes. It's not North Carolina. We talked to McCants. Remember Rashid McCants? We talked to him about how North Carolina does things. So, but it was an ugly, ugly, ugly mess. But that's sidebar. IU doesn't even play MAC, MVC, OVC. I agree. We don't. And I think until Indiana starts playing relevant games early in the season, we're not going to be relevant again.
Yeah, the thing is, we have to
play those games, we got to start winning those games.
You know what? They went to Xavier a couple of years ago. Do a home and home with them. They're always a good program. You've got
Benton, Arkansas. Isn't that where University of Arkansas is? Benton.
Huh?
I got a phone call from Benton, Arkansas. Calipari's calling me. He wants Indiana. You know, we haven't talked about Calipari. Calipari wants Indiana. I just got a call from Benton, Arkansas. That's where University.
This would turn into a Purdue show if they had him.
You know, that's John said he was going to give me a call.
Yeah. Okay. There's a better chance Sylvester Stallone did call me than John Calipari called.
But I read the other night where Calipari wants to come to Indiana. He wants blue blood school again.
He could stay where he's at.
Yeah, cheating doesn't matter anymore, John. So
I just don't like John Calipari. He coached at Kentucky. I'm against him. They're all stupid, inbred. But
okay, so Brunell, we're mixed emotion on, right?
Brownell was the quarterback for the Jaguars back in the early 2000s.
We both like Brownell.
I think he's all right.
I think he's a lower first year. He's not somebody that I'm gonna bust my butt to go get.
Put it like this: I'd rather have Brownell than I would Cronin.
Oh yeah, Mick Cronin. I have no interest.
You know who he looks like? He looks like Mr. Peanut.
What?
He looks like Mr. Peanut.
Well, I don't.
And he's one of those little, what is it, a bifocal or something?
I'm not exactly.
Yeah, you do, because you first attacked him because he was bald.
I'm nobody to put on the cover of GQ magazine.
Steve, that is obvious. You don't even have to say it.
I know, but I do have hair. So.
Hell. All right, guys. I'm done with this today. Who do you want to do tomorrow?
We don't. Do we need to talk about anybody else? Who?
I think there's one more.
Talk about
I think there's one more that I like, and that's Grant McCaslin from Texas Tech.
I think we're done doing this crap.
Okay, I'll do that one by myself then.
Oh God. Okay. Who are we doing tomorrow?
No, we won't. We won't do anything. Nobody else wants to hear anything about this crap. All right. The teetotalers would lose their money if I ever said Calipari. LOL. Actually, I don't think you have to be a teetotaler. You just have to not be a Satan worshiper, and then you
what's the fear in Calipari anymore? He was a decent coach.
He's a scumbag.
And cheating's
he
off
coached
the
at
table now.
Kentucky.
He can't get caught for cheating.
He coached at Kentucky.
What's wrong with that?
I don't like him.
Why?
Because he coached at Kentucky.
You shouldn't take things to such a
Kentucky Wildcat fans are like the dumbest people I've ever met. It's them and Pittsburgh Steeler fans that battle it out. Now I know a couple good Kentucky fans, but they don't ever want to get caught with the bad ones. Because let's see, the bad ones, like 50% of them are married and they were already related. So I mean, what the hell is even the sense of that?
Oh, Mike, I'm so thrilled. I'm so happy.
For what?
I am so thrilled. The schedules just started coming out to the NFL, and the Rams schedule came up. The NFC West is playing the AFC South. The Colts are coming to LA. Now, I'm not going to the game because I ain't paying.
You'll be able to watch it on TV at least.
I can watch a Colts game on TV finally.
Why don't we see if we can get you credentials to go cover the Colts Rams game?
I don't want to try and park at SoFi. I don't go.
You don't want to try to do any work.
You understand how bad traffic is in California? I'm no way.
Writing
it's on
words
TV.
Trouble too. I'm
sitting out by my pool, putting it on the big screen, playing with my dogs, and watching the game.
Rams will win if Anthony. Who's that? Oh, wait. Nick asked about Jay Wright.
Oh, Jay's making too much money where he's at. He's enjoying what he's doing. He's good at what he does. Why would he want to get back into the coaching ranks?
Because he loves
Why
to
would
coach.
he want to come to Indiana?
Because
He's
he
so
loves
above
to.
Indiana. And there's no way you could get a Jay Wright to come to Indiana and coach Indiana.
Now
Not
that's
at
going to
this point in
be
his career.
that's going to be a 30-second reel if Jay Wright comes to Indiana.
30-second reel.
Yeah, where we put it on. You said there's no way Jay Wright would ever come to Indiana.
He won't.
And then
come.
Jay Wright came to Indiana.
I'll stand by that. I'll prove me wrong on that one.
We can't really prove you wrong because we don't even know if he's offered a job.
He
I would say this: if he wants to come, I'm all for it.
Oh, if he wants to come, I'm all for it too.
Hold on, let's see.
If IU hired Calipari, Pigs and inside the hall would be a total meltdown.
What's that, Pigs? Is that when you have a woman? Never mind. That's Peg, I think.
Oh,
who cares what Pigs and Inside the Hall thinks about anything?
yeah. If you guys are listening to us, what else you need?
Yeah, you don't need Pigs or Inside the Hall.
Okay, seriously, we've jacked around here again. It's 50 minutes.
You have. I've been ready to go for a while.
How do we get to 50 minutes?
I don't know. It's because we have great listeners with great comments like Nick and Robert and David. There's a lot of Roberts that watch us.
Yeah, I got to call
Calipari
back and tell him IU's not going to be interested in him.
And Jay, hopefully Jay is healing well. I think
what, Bentonville, Arkansas, it might be Daly too. I'm supposed to play golf with Daly.
Huh. And David Clay. You're supposed to play golf with John Daly?
Yeah.
Huh. Is that because you guys wear each other's clothes?
And use each other's razors.
Ew, that's disgusting. Especially with him, because he's probably disease-ridden.
I'm not that fat, okay?
I didn't say you were that fat. I just said you're in the proximity where you guys could share clothes. Maybe he goes on a diet, loses 10 pounds, he calls you up. Riz.
All right. Do you share wigs with Joy Behar?
I don't wear a wig. That would be Joy Reid. And she got fired, so it doesn't really matter.
She did get fired, didn't she?
She got fired. About it. Hey, and if Joy Reid's out there and you want to come on and talk about how hateful the white man is, we are here for you. She can sit right between us and talk Indiana basketball.
Not getting into that stuff.
Well, I'm just speaking.
Okay. All right.
All right. We're going to wrap it up. I don't know.
We're going to go tomorrow then?
I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah. Well, might as well. What the hell? Let's make it up.
We could do Steve Risley's top 10 games of all time.
No.
Because I know there's at least two.
I'm not thinking that much.
You can't remember anything, Steve.
No, I can't.
That's why whenever I watch a film and you played well, I call you and let you know. No, because every time I try to, somebody makes a comment or you start talking. But you can follow me on X at Grilling Truth. You can follow Steve Risley on X at SRisley34. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Check out thegrillingtruth.com. Hold on. I'm doing my best, guys, with my healing. Good memory. Well, I told you I'd go pray for you, and I did. So you obviously will get better. If we get Steve to pray, then.
What's wrong with Jay? Why did I miss?
He's the one that had I believe he had a knee replacement.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he did. That's right. Yeah, okay.
See, I have a much better memory.
Hang in there, Jay. You get better.
Yeah. All right, guys. You ought to fly to his house and autograph his cast or something.
Who the hell would want my autograph?
It was a joke, Steve.
I mean, Jesus.
I don't think you get a cast.
Nobody wants my autograph.
I know. It's a joke every time I say it, Steve.
Okay.
Nobody's ever popped up here. Steve, will you send me an autograph?
Actually, I have gotten letters like
Not
that.
On here.
You what?
Not on here.
Oh.
All right. So the rest of the show, I'm going to wait. If anybody wants a Steve Risley autograph, let us know. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. For Steve Risley, I'm Mike Goodpaster. Nobody wanted it. We will see you next time.